welcome to the 23rd episode of Puck, which is a vibes-based podcast where we yap about all things hockey. Today is March 28th, 2025, and I'm your host, Saint. This is my partner in crime, Champ. Champ, how you doing?
I'm having a great day because the Oilers aren't playing tonight.
Oh, wow, okay. As always, we got a lot to discuss about this episode, so let's jump right into it. Champ, we got to talk about it. In fact, we have to talk about it so bad that I made you change the order of our topics of conversation because I was so distressed.
It's just a normal Friday. Nothing going on
totally
crazy.
nothing
Just been a kind of
so
casual
boring.
week. Nothing going on. Saint, what's the matter? Why are you crying?
I can't do it. I'm gonna fucking. You know when people, you know how white people ruin things, and we've ruined the word crash out.
Yeah.
Because crash out
It's
always
such a good.
First of all, it's a good term. Thank you, black people. But like, it's also means like I'm crashing out, as in I'm ruining my life. Okay. When I say I'm crashing out, fucking mean it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This has me ready to crash the fuck out.
I'm aware.
It wasn't real, and I think that's the worst part of this, right? Because it was basically in limbo.
What wasn't real, Saint?
Brad Marchand being traded to the Florida fucking Panthers.
Yeah. So Marshy is playing his first game against the Utah Hockey Club with that stupid red jersey on.
I love him in Canadian red.
Yeah.
Not this red. Not this red.
We're having a great evening. The Paul Maurice came out and it was like, "Yep, this is the night. He's back. He's here to go." Was he on official concussion protocol? Did we ever know?
He was on.
He was upper body.
He had an undisclosed. So they didn't say what it was.
Right.
But I mean, we were witness to what I believe was the first half, which was that he got hurt.
He blew an edge.
Yeah, no. But when we were in Boston, and I believe it was the Ducks game, he got hurt and he left and he came back, but he left, and it was like, yeah, he's probably a little shook up, but he's gonna power through it. And then it was the P.O. Joseph hit, who just also returned, by the way, from his revenge.
Oh, good,
because he was out too. So they did not disclose what it was, I believe, or if they did, I haven't seen it.
I don't think they did. And did they disclose it when Bennett gave him a concussion?
They did. So when in the playoffs last year, with the stealth hit from Bennett,
his new bestie,
it was because his new fucking liney, it was a concussion, and they said that he was on concussion protocol and he could not play because he had a fucking concussion. Yeah. This one they did not say. I believe it was probably an injury and started as concussion watch. Okay. Because they seem to have a more definitive timeline, but they didn't at first. I think that was one of the really hard parts about this, was like
when the trade happened.
He had to play in the playoffs, and they were like, is he even going to play in the regular season? But then they were like, no, we think it's about a month out.
Has it been a month?
It's been 20 days. Or 21 days. 21 days.
Jesus. Okay, so, not as bad as it could have been.
Which also made people obviously very tilted that basically he could have still been playing for the Bruins in this playoff push.
Yes, he could have.
He could have been here. And
because they're not in it, but they're not out of it yet.
They're not out yet. And it's also more of like, wait a second. I get where Florida was coming from on the trade, that like you have a guy who may or may not be playing, and hindsight is 2020. Yeah. But you really gave up a player for that. Yeah. Anyways,
listen, I'm also still salty about what's his name, fucking not Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, putting out the video of him when Marshy got traded. He says it again like Brad Marchand is cattle stock. And he's like, just traded Marshy. And I'm like, bro, that is your lifer. Like, I don't, but
it was just a really weird.
It's been a whole weird situation.
Him being injured, anyways, the whole point was that him being injured made it not real. Yeah. Because
you weren't seeing him on the ice.
Yeah, it was everybody else. I feel like we got through a little bit quicker.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, like with Jake, it was like, damn, there's Jake in a Carolina jersey. Yeah, like I just feel like it was different. And then so this was like Damocles sword hanging over your head the whole fucking 21 days, 3 weeks. of like just.
Yeah, and he'd been on the ice a little bit he'd
been in practice.
Yeah, in the practice, but they were on a road trip. And so anytime he was in practice, it didn't necessarily, again, feel real.
It still didn't feel real, yeah.
And also seeing him in the white jerseys was not as offensive as seeing him in the red. Because Bruins have white jerseys. Every team has white jerseys. So you're like, oh, my brain can still be tricked into thinking that it's not real.
So I thought the exact same fucking thing. I know. Where I was like,
he just borrowed a jersey. Somebody lost a bet.
Yeah, he's just not. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
Right. Like it wasn't.
And then tonight,
it wasn't real.
Now they're at home. He's wearing
now they're at home. My cousins are there.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask.
My cousins sure are there. My cousin, by the way, they visited.
Yes.
And came over, and we were gonna go to a bar, but
on March Madness.
On March Madness, my city obviously did not have anything that wasn't March Madness.
Yeah.
And so they came over to our house and watched the game, the Penguins versus the Panthers. And my cousin, she's so funny. She was like, I could have just flown home and watched the game, but because the thing that they were gonna do on Sunday got canceled, and she's like, I could have just.
You could have gone home
and watched the game at home.
I think the hardest part of this Saint, and I know you're gonna scream, so prepare to crash out.
Oh, pain!
Is seeing him have to trade his gloves. And
I can't fucking. Couldn't they like let him have this one? Like,
because he did that for the Canada. Like Canada, he wore his gloves.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's not had those gloves.
Wait, is he wearing his slutty? Are his slutty wrists out?
Yes, his slutty wrists are still out. I'm looking at him right now. He's right there. He's not dead. He's just a Florida Panther.
Oh yeah, his slutty wrists are out. Yeah, he is not dead. He's just a Florida Panther. How are we feeling, NHL team? We're not feeling great. We're having a hard time, buds.
I'm #suffering. I can't decide if I want him. I want him to do well. Shut up, Panthers Twitter.
This is why I blocked them. Panthers Twitter. I don't hate you,
because
but
they have my captain. They took him from me. Actually,
pretty. He's so pretty.
He is a very pretty guy. I love him so much.
But yeah, like other than the fact that they, like to brag about their win, brag about winning the Stanley Cup final last year. I don't know why I would be upset about that, but other than that, their social media team is so good, and it makes me so mad that I was like, I'm not dealing with that.
Like it's so real, right? Like. It's one of those like my haterism game is strong, but I can always appreciate. It's like game the Flyers. I'm legally obligated to hate the Flyers as a diehard Pittsburgh Penguins fan,
but you love Gritty.
But I love Gritty. Who doesn't love Gritty? And I can appreciate the whimsy of Philly, all right, and Philly sports fans in general. Like I said, another life I would have been a Philly fan.
Yeah, in another life you would have been going through hell this week.
Chip, we do that every week. Because
yeah.
Another life I'd be crashing out about my coach getting fired with 2 weeks left in the season.
Yeah, so I love that. Okay, I need to tell you this because I haven't told you this yet. So for people who are not aware, John Tortorella stepped down. Tortellini is gone, and I did not know what was going on behind the scenes. We'll talk about that in a minute. Because again, I was not paying attention to the East Coast. I've been paying attention to the West Coast. And so I'm talking to my coworker who is a very big Caps fan, and he's talking about how happy he is that the Caps are clinched. And I was like, yeah, good for you. I think the Oilers are having a harder time. We're just shooting the shit. And I look at my phone, and I still have Elliot Friedman on alert from trade season. And he tweets so infrequently that it's not a big deal. And I looked down and I see him say, the thing called John Tortorella's been fired or John Tortorella stepped down, whatever. And I went, holy moly, very loud in front of the entire office and like dug deep to look at it. And it was real that Tortorella stepped down. And so I sat there, I was like, oh, this really shows how much into hockey I am to everybody else. Because they know that I'm an Oilers fan. They don't necessarily know that I'm a hockey fan. So it was very interesting for me to sit there going, oh, I watch a lot more than I tell people. But yeah, that was my Tortorella story. It's like, I looked down and I went, fuck, Tortorella, really? And I think I also said tortellini, so that was even funny.
That's a real problem, by the way, because I have had to, like, when I talk with my cousins, it's very obvious that, like, I'm an insane person because, like, I'm literally like, oh yeah, Marshy. And my cousin said he went into an elevator, by the way, because he was wearing Panthers gear. Oh god. He got into an elevator with a guy wearing Bruins gear.
Yeah.
And he was like, how you feeling about Brad? And which would never occur to me. It would always be Marshy. And the guy goes, who's Brad? And I can't tell if that was a bit of like he's dead to us because he left Boston, or this man is a poser. Like I don't know. He's a punk bunny. I don't know.
He's a punk bunny. It was just.
But I want to know the drama about this. So this was not a nice break.
No,
this was
it's messy. And so again, all I knew was Tortorella stepped down because I'm not paying attention. And then you were like, oh, it's because of the comments that he made on Tuesday. And I went, the what? And what did he say in the press conference? Because it was bad.
So
he basically fired himself.
Here's the thing. If he hadn't said what he said, I believe it was something. Where was it? Because it wasn't a good fucking look. Because I remember, so when he had the press conference.
Okay, I found it.
I remember everybody went like, oh, you can't be saying that. Like that's, it's just one of those things where it's like, you can think it, but you really shouldn't
out loud
say it unless, but it's Tortorella. So we like allow it, you know what I mean? Cause he's a meme, but I guess that must've been the catalyst of him being like, I'm done.
He said this was after the Leafs loss, I believe. Mm-hmm. He said, this falls on me. I'm not really interested in learning how to coach in this type of season where we're at right now. But I have to do a better job. So this falls on me, getting the team prepared to play the proper way until we get to the end.
Which is the worst. But, like, the fact that he said it out loud, like, I'm basically not interested in coaching the rest of the season, is, like, quiet quitting. Like, but
not
he wasn't
quiet
about it. Yeah, he wasn't quiet about it. Like... So, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, whoa. Because I'm pretty sure he had a good relationship with the front office. And that's, what's his name? Who's their GM?
It's Danny Briere for the Flyers.
Yeah. And so, like, then, like, so that happened and I remember being like, okay, that makes sense as to why he was dismissed. And then last night they played the Habs and Cam York was benched for an entire game because they don't have enough people to pull up.
Dressed and benched.
Yeah, like he played zero ice. He had 0 minutes on the ice.
Yeah, and, which is like, Your Honor.
Yeah, so there's rumors, not rumors, but like chatter coming around that something happened between Cam York and Tortorella in Toronto that then got Tortellini fired. And Kevin Kurz, I don't know who he is. He's probably a Flyers reporter, said basically that they probably both crossed the line. I don't think, there was also some rumors that it got physical because I think Tortellini has a past of it getting physical. But people are like, no, it didn't get physical.
He went after one of the other coaches that one time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
When he was, because who did he coach before? He was
the Lightning coach.
No, shut up. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, he was a Canucks coach.
Yeah, it was Canucks and the Flames, wasn't it?
Yes.
I don't fucking remember.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes. And he fucking hates.
Yeah, the biggest story coming out of this game was Canucks' infamous head coach, John Tortorella, absolutely losing his mind in the tunnel on the Flames, reportedly trying to get at Flames head coach Bob Hartley. Tortorella was given a 15-day suspension from the NHL, including 6 games.
Wow. Without pay.
And like Clint Malarchuk, fucking
Canucks
legend.
Assistant coach Mike Sullivan took over the head coaching job during his suspension. I didn't realize that Sully was a Canucks coach.
Was he? Yeah. Assistant coach.
Yeah.
He's been with the Pens for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, December 2015. Yeah. He's been with the Pens for 10 years.
Now I'm learning a lot about Tortorella.
Wikipedia is.
Tortorella sparked controversy when he chose to start Eddie Lack in the 2014 Heritage Classic over Robert Luongo. And then Luongo, was openly disappointed and was traded 2 days later.
Yeah, and this was also, if I remember correctly, What year was that? Because was it
2014?
After... Yeah, okay.
Because so after that, he and Sully were fired.
Oh, they were fired.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I love learning. Everybody, like, it's like learning. It's all the lore. All the lore. Yeah. I don't...
So here's my question is, do we think he actually does try and stay in the league? And if so, where is he going?
Apparently he had said previously, now this is allegedly because I couldn't find sources on it, like a direct, actual, reputable source, was that this was his last contract. Like he basically insinuated this would be his last NHL contract.
That's a really hard way to go out, like, because he has a cup.
Yeah, like, well, so he has assistance coach. What's his, like? Yeah, he won the Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
The Lightning.
Hasn't really had.
He's one of those coaches where I know outside of the league, it's one of those things where outside of the league, he's a great person. He has a lot of influential.
It's sort of like love him off the ice, hate him on the ice. Sam Bennett. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
You know, my favorite part about Tortellini was his incredible, like, rants towards the officials. I will never get over that. One of the very first videos of him that I ever saw was him climbing over the two players on the bench to bitch at
the Flyers. Yeah. Like him crashing the fuck out. And I mean that sincerely, because he was trying to go fight the fucking referees. Like,
you know, iconic, so like iconic. I saw a really interesting take was that he hasn't had one of those since the year started. And that's when people were like, is he checked 2025. Out? Is he checked out? Well, yeah, no shit, he's checked out. And then there's been like some personal locker room drama with, I know that they'd had the new baby, Michikov, I think is his name, who is Russian and isn't getting, you know,
that shit pissed me the fuck off.
And what do you getting a translator?
Lord and Savior. He does now, I guess, but like, yeah, I believe he got a translator, but again,
that should be automatic.
What do you mean in the year of our Lord and Savior 2025 in a league with a significant number of non-native English speakers?
Native English, yeah.
We do not have like what the fuck? I would have thought, okay, early 2000s, right? Yeah. We weren't woke then. Like, I get it. Gino Malkin needed Gino Malkin came over and knew like 3 words of hockey in English, and the rest was all just pantomime. Gino score. Yeah. Like, that was it. And then, like, what's 3-on-3 in Russian? So, like, but 2010s, we didn't have that figured out.
We're in the 2020s.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We should have had this figured out in the 2010s.
Yeah.
2015 at the latest. We should have been like, yes. When was the last collective bargaining agreement? Because it expires like next year.
Really? Like, shit.
Doesn't it?
I have no clue. I also know that Joel Farabee.
Yeah, the 2013 expired.
Okay, so we should have figured it out.
The new one extended to 2025 to 2026.
Okay, so next year.
Next year is potential lockout.
Oh.
But yeah, but so this is what I mean. 2013, that should have been when they in the CBA negotiated for.
We weren't woke then.
Organization paid.
Translators.
The gay marriage was legal.
No, it wasn't. Not until 2015.
Oh well, in my state it was.
Oh, fuck you.
But like, really, they like that is unfathomable to me as somebody who's like a diehard. Like I've said, let me become the player protective. Guard dog. Yeah. Like, no, I won't do things legally, but I will help you get them done legally.
I mean, they'll get done. But I know that somewhere, what is it, Joel Farabee and what's his name are up in Calgary living their best life. Somebody said they were the last plane to get out of Philadelphia. I died.
They're the last chopper out of it's so fucking funny. Just one of those very, very funny, like, also that like he wouldn't let one of the babies, was it Michikov that like, I think it was Michigan? Him that he was like, no Michigan, no Michigan.
Dude, if he's gonna score, let him play.
Like, let him have fun.
There's no whimsy in the Flyers. Gritty's the only thing that they got.
Yeah.
You know.
And they had whimsy. They had it when, like, There was like them doing the conga line like last year or something like that, and it was very cute.
Yeah.
And someone on Twitter, because it was it was last year, because someone on Twitter had retweeted and said, if John Tortorella as head coach of the Rangers had walked into the ice rink, finding them having a little dance conga line on the ice, he would have fired a loaded gun into the air. Like, just so
and he's got a very like his style of coaching, you can tell is on the way out.
He would have been great for a team of older veterans and no young babies, because it's very obvious that players like Brad Marchand, bless him, are a dying breed, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean there are players that respond to that coaching and players that don't respond to that coaching.
It's the difference,
and I don't think any of the new babies do. None of the Gen Zers will respond to, I think, his style of coaching.
It's the difference between Chris Knobloch and our coach beforehand. Is Nobby came in and he was a real gentle, soft-spoken guy. Now, granted, I've had a lot of issues with him this season, but he got us to the cup last year. Like, he has the puck mindset.
And other coaches get so much leeway. Mm-hmm. He is one of the first new blood coaches in a hot minute. And he, in his first year, got us to the Stanley Cup final. And then you blew up his roster.
Yeah.
You blew up the guys he just spent a year fixing.
Chemistry. Literally.
Give him some fucking time to like figure out how to do it. I would, no. Let him, give him time. I really like Chris Knobloch as a coach. I think he's the coach the Oilers need. Yes. I just think that he's some
the coach that Connor needs, honestly.
Yes. Yes. Other than Connor's been in a slump, but I think he's just been injured. So.
I think he's a lot more hurt than they're letting on. Speaking of coaching drama, Sheldon O'Keefe.
This was some fucked up shit.
This was like right after we got off the Puck Witches call last weekend.
We couldn't say it, and we were like, God damn it, if only we'd seen this before.
He basically, I don't remember what player he was talking shit about, but one of his players said something about how we just need to dig in for the playoffs. They're in a playoff spot. Like, I don't understand where the shit, like, why? And
like he as a player gave a very
honest,
normal answer. Like any other player could have given this answer.
And Sheldon O'Keefe goes, well, he should play better. And then dead silence for like 30 seconds.
Literally, Mike dropped and walked away. Like,
apparently Pete DeBoer also left a conference this week. Like, the Dallas coach. And I was like, what is happening? Because we've talked about it, that this season feels very bizarre. And I can't tell if it's just that we're paying more attention to it or if it's genuinely the vibes. But then you have all of these lifers that were traded, and so I'm tempted to believe that it's not just us sitting here going, oh, we're new hockey fans, we don't know how it works.
No, the responses from other people going like, they've been trading people that never been traded before. Yeah. Like, it seems to me that like...
You know, it's funny because I just got into F1 last year too, and last year's F1 season was the same. where it was just fucking feral, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, maybe it's just me.
Maybe it's just... Are we the problem? Is this why the Penguins suck? Is it me?
It's not. I can promise you it's not you.
They weren't bad. They have 5 straight. Whatever. Because... So, the other thing is, like, this guy, O'Keefe, right?
Yeah. Is it O'Keefe or Keefe?
Keefe,
he was the Toronto one?
Yes. Not the... So, he got kicked after last year from the Leafs.
Right.
Because they failed to... the playoff... They made one? No. Bruins knocked him out round 1, right?
Yeah.
Or was it round 2?
No, it was round 1.
So I guess it was the 4th straight year of like minimal to no playoff success. Mm-hmm. And so they let him go basically, or like, you know what I mean? Like it was like and they parted ways.
Yeah, he was the Leafs coach from 2019 to 2024. And that was his first NHL job.
I don't know. Like, maybe you're the problem.
Yeah. Honestly.
How the fuck are you? You have Mitch, and not to say that like, oh, you have Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, and therefore you should be. but you have guys who are like very, very good hockey players.
Yeah.
And you can't get the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to blame it just on him. We're going to see this year if the Leafs can, like, dig in, and if he may or may not have been.
They're going to be fine.
Well, yeah, they'll make it, which they've made. It was like they had their own decade of darkness where like they had never made they hadn't made playoffs, and then they hadn't made anything past a first round exit, and then they did. I think they made it to round 2 or 3, but
if honestly the Devils get knocked out, who's their current standings? I think it's the Habs. If the Devils get knocked out in the first round, you have to believe it's Keefe, right? He's just not up to the caliber, right?
Yeah, that like, because I think that some people hit skill ceilings, right? You know what I mean? Like,
you talk about the goalies all the time.
Yeah, or just that you were promoted to the highest level.
Oh, they're playing the Canes in the.
I don't mean it like
in the first round.
Okay, Canes as of right now. And it's like you don't mean it in a mean way. It's just one of those that like
there is a glass ceiling for men too.
Yeah, like. It's just, again, we've talked about it a little bit that I get exhausted with, like, hey, could we maybe just try somebody new? Mm-hmm. And I get that hockey is very, very, very incestuous community and very small. But, like, you could be like, hey, man, take a year off. Yeah. Go, like, and then come back, and we'll see if anybody needs you. You know what? I just...
Other news this week, the Jets are officially clinched, and last week we did actual research into figuring out what it meant to be why certain teams got clinched, so we know now. Also clinched, whatever.
You cinched a
no, clinched it. This is gonna be a thing, isn't it? This is gonna be a thing.
No, this might just be
clinched it.
It is clinched.
Oh,
okay.
I was right!
I'm thinking of...
Cinched is like in cinched waists. Like you're cinching a waist.
That's what I'm thinking of because my mother was a seamstress.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't remember.
Am I wrong? No, that's why I was like, am I wrong? I don't know. Now I needed to confirm. Okay.
Yeah, so the Jets are clinched, and the Preds are out. No shock there. They had a rough season, though.
Jesus Christ. What do they do?
They spent so much money in the offseason. To the point where you and I were like, Preds might be dangerous this year. Preds might be dangerous because Steve Stamkos, Forsberg, they had not Saros.
It felt like they were making a legitimate run. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, they were like, we're going to fill the gaps. Yeah. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, it felt...
They spent $100 million in the offseason, Saint.
Jesus Christ.
And what do they have for it? Leon Draisaitl being Leon Draisaitl being mayor of Nashville. They are. I mean, again, it's the Western Conference, and the Western Conference because they're Central, aren't they? Now I have to look. They might be.
Yeah,
East
yeah,
Coast.
they are Central. They are Central. No, they're Central. That's why you were like, we were talking about who got in and who got out, and you were like, well, the Predators, they got knocked out, and I was like, yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, yet again, the fucking War of the Five Kings of the East is so exhausting because there is not a single team in the East that has been eliminated from playoff contention. And there are 3 in the Western Conference.
Yep.
That's how bad the fucking differential is in points.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things where I'm sitting here and I'm like, geez. But I also think the caliber is more even on the East Coast than it is the West Coast. Like,
it's it's
spread out more evenly, and then the West Coast.
There's a lot of bad teams and a lot of mid teams.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like in the West, it's like you have really bad teams, a handful of like mid to bad teams, and then really fucking good teams.
Yes.
And then in the East, it's like you've got some really good teams. And then fucking insanity.
Yeah.
Like, that's any given day of the week, someone on that. You have bad teams, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But, like, it's just one of those things where, like you said, the caliber is similar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That, like, you have how many fighting technically for a playoff spot?
I honestly don't think that there's one
2, 3, 4,
team
5.
in the East, other than the Caps, maybe, that stands out really well.
The Canes, the Devils before losing 2 of their star players to injury
again
would be well, and just the unfortunately the Cats and the Leafs. Everybody crashes out about the Leafs on Twitter every 5 fucking seconds because they lose a single game, and I'm like, you guys are like one of the top.
The Sharks, by the way, the Sharks swept them.
But everybody has to do it once in a while, okay? Like, it's so funny.
But again, it goes back to that one thing that you got sent to the penalty box for, which is it's not the same as saying it's another Leafs game day, like, versus saying it's another Pens game day. You know what I mean? That one meme. You don't live here.
Yeah, you don't live. This is family business, okay? But like, people were acting like the Toronto Maple Leaf season was over, and I'm like, guys, they're like fucking top in the division. Like, what are you fucking talking about? They're 3rd in the conference.
Maybe they're just traumatized, honestly. Maybe they're just going through. Hey, I mean,
they're like,
you say this.
I get it,
but I'm also crashing out of the Oilers. So I mean, like.
To be fair, your Oilers are missing. Because what I was thinking about crashing about the Oilers is, I was like, McDry's not here.
Yeah,
that's really,
and our goalie
which
sucks.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th from the bottom. But I think the Sabres and the Flyers have to get eliminated as of right now.
Yeah,
before the Pens are.
Yep. I think you're safe. We're safe for this weekend. Thank God.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Last year was worse because we had hope. There's no hope.
No, there's no hope. But we get the babies.
We're not even close. We do get the babies, which was a weird decision. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. But just a little bit weird because it was like, why didn't you bring them?
It's the same reason that we didn't bring up Rodrigue, the Oilers baby goalie, until we had no other option. Like, get some fresh blood in there and don't let fucking Dustin Schwartz touch him.
Yeah, like, just... I feel so bad for the Oilers because they could have...
We could have gotten so... Okay, I'm calm. I'm very calm. I don't want to go in the box
No penalties.
today.
We haven't had penalties.
Exactly.
We've been lady bitch. Remember the NHL cost less penalties this year.
And finally, the Caps. Did you see the Caps saying thank you to Fleury for his incredible season?
Not only was it that like Ovechkin was gonna stay out.
Yeah.
And like, but he called the rest of his team back as captain.
I saw that, and like Ovi, I don't know. He's one of those players where he's like not mythical, but like. In my brain, he's so... He is. Don't get me wrong.
He's larger than life.
But, like, in my brain, he's one thing. And I don't know why he's in my brain is this one thing. And then he's, like, a genuinely great person on the ice. He has great play. But, like, in my head, I think it's because I've been so ingrained as my father being a Pittsburgh Penguin fan for all of my life. To see Ovi and go, bad.
Like it was ingrained in you.
Yeah, so like then I see that and I'm like, oh, Ovi, that was really sweet.
Yeah, it was, and I sent you the picture, but like of Flower.
Great, recognizing great.
Yeah, like and it was just like they've been playing against each other basically their whole careers.
It's 2003, I think.
Yeah, because Flower, like they're, I think the same age or like only a year apart or something like that. Like they're both 40.
Ovi's 39. So
39, yeah. So, but like they basically played together their entire against each other specifically, and the Caps Penguins rivalry was so intense
and
for
it still
so
is.
long.
Like not as strong, but like the bitterness.
We were supposed to be old and bad together, you fucks. Anyways,
and then you got Lars Eller back in the power of friendship.
Power of friendship.
So I just saw that and I thought it was wonderful. I love moments like that on the ice.
That's actually one of my, because we watch Jens. I haven't seen Jens compilations in a while, but like when we first got into hockey, I watched.
That's how we did it. Yeah, that's how we learned.
Yeah, it really got us into like, okay, what teams we want to get. You know, this just catching the vibes over through the years, and the sportsman moments compilation. A big one was all of them like people taking laps together when they were retiring, and like teams doing their stick taps, like for people who were retiring their last games or anything like that. And it was the handshake lines, like just a really nice show of camaraderie and sportsmanship. It's just, I really like it. Hockey, I feel like has that. Again, when the Super Bowl happened, I was like, they don't shake hands? Like, what the fuck is this? And like, it's just, it's a gladiator sport and it has to have the gentleman side to it.
And again, it's probably that little bit of inbreeding. Everybody knows everybody. But it's just so heartwarming to see a genuine connection, like great recognizing great. So, all right, Saint. Do we have a sponsor today?
We do have a sponsor. Today's sponsor is Saint Astra, a Twitch streamer, cosplayer, and artist. You can support her by purchasing from her Etsy or subscribing on twitch.tv/Saint Astra. Use your free Prime sub and get access to cute little emotes. Saint Astra's Etsy also sells a variety of jewelry, decorations, and trinkets. Everything is handmade and crafted with the perfect balance of love and spite. All proceeds go directly to the Saint Astra Dice Little Jersey Fund.
Alright, Saint, so Games Notes came out with a really interesting visual of every North American hockey player birthplace in the history of the NHL. I thought this was a really neat graphic because I don't think I realized
how centralized it is to like the eastern half of the Great Lakes area.
Speaking of inbreds.
Like holy shit, it's like Lake Erie.
Yep.
Like Lake Michigan, like that, the Great Lakes, and then like the Megaopolis, which really is, I want it. So normally when these kinds of charts show up, right, like the geography ones, you go, oh, well, this is just a population graph. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you go, this is just where, but that's very much not the case in this one.
Not at all.
Like, obviously you have more in like Boston and Washington, D.C., and there's a lot of cities. But Buffalo is not on the level of like Boston
for real,
or Detroit. Like, look at how many
Detroit
you can't even see
crazy.
The cities, like all of that area, like everywhere on Lake Ontario and like Lake Erie, you can't see shit because it's all just a blow up.
I also think it's really funny. So like for me, looking at this as somebody who lives in the South, going, wow, there's actually quite a few Southern folks down here. You can tell, like, there's one kid in Mississippi, and I think that's Morgan Geeky. Is that right? Or Mason Lori? It's one of them.
It is one of the boys. It's one of the Bruins.
Like, I can't sit here and imagine one of like a baby from Alabama. They don't have the resources. Like,
well, if my little cousin is from Florida.
Yeah.
Like he was born and raised in Florida. Moved to Tennessee. So if he ever made it to the NHL, he would be that one dot, you know. And his brother is a hockey. He's 2 years old and all he knows is hockey. You know all those like when we look at like, you know, look at Sid Crosby in a goalie outfit when he's 2. You know what I mean?
Wanting to be
that's him. That's him. Yeah. No, that's my little cousin. He's a baby and all he knows is hockey.
Yeah.
His entire life is hockey because his big brother plays hockey. Mm-hmm. So it's your whole life. So he would be the little dot on the map in Tennessee. And it's a crazy fucking life that they lead, these kids. Like, it's all travel. Like they literally eat, sleep, and breathe hockey.
Yeah.
That is their whole fucking life. It's so demanding.
I think another thing that really surprises me in this map is just the sheer amount of like kids that were not born in states that you would expect. So like for me, there's one person in Montana, and I know that Montana has a smaller population, but like you're telling me that only one like NHL player has ever been born in Montana, or like South Dakota has one. Like, they're up north. That's a northern city.
Yeah, I guess I would expect them, but you can almost see the dividing line of, like, where true Midwestern culture, I want to say, versus mountaineering culture.
Oh, I can see.
Because I feel like there's a difference between plains. And I could be wrong on this, but there's a dividing line, basically where you can't grow food there. You know what I mean? Like the water, it's the water line of basically where the arid climate past the Rocky Mountains suddenly stops and the whole East Coast is green. That dividing line is culturally and physically a significant thing. And I wonder sometimes how that affects like there is a difference between like, you know, like you said, Montana and Michigan.
Yeah.
Or Montana and even just Wisconsin. Like is it the Great Lakes? Is it because it's not the proximity to Canada. Like you see some there, but not.
And then there's also the fact that Canada has a lot more Western presence. Saskatchewan. There you go.
Saskatchewan.
There you go.
I didn't want to say it wrong. Saskatchewan, I think, is like, and Alberta are like huge, obviously.
Yeah.
Also the other, and
go on.
Nova Scotia.
There you go.
And Montreal.
Yep.
And, but like, yeah.
But it's just, it's interesting. Like, it's like if you look across the border from Alberta, you would expect maybe there to be like a pretty significant, not divide, but like smattering down into the states, and it's a hard line.
Like, I want to see what because I guess I'm looking here. Yeah, there's really, because I'm thinking Bozeman would have been
Bozeman
a thing.
has
I guess
one.
That's the one.
That's the one.
And then it's Spokane. Spokane. And again, like I said, you kind of go over the map of the United States and you go, yes, there's Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And
Albuquerque. Albuquerque.
And I guess it really just becomes there's not a single large city in North or South Dakota.
You're right.
There's fuck all, and again, there's nothing in Nebraska but corn. I love looking at the Great Line of like just you can see where the green starts and stops. There's a word for it, and I can't remember what it is.
Because we were surprised by that when we flew out to Colorado. It was just there's no green.
Yeah, and people were like, well, and there was a thread about this of like, why, you know, jokingly, like, why doesn't everybody live? It's because there's no fucking, you can't live there. Yeah. They don't get enough water.
Yeah.
Like, the green line of where things grow.
I just remember flying back from Colorado and being like, oh, thank God there's green.
That was me.
For Vegas.
Because there's fuck all. Mm-hmm. And I live in a city that has a lot of greener space.
Yes, same.
Like we have a lot of green space, even in like downtown.
I live in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I mean,
yeah, we are
green bitches.
Green bitches, yeah, sea level green bitches, and just like I said, when I came back and we flew over the Great Lakes, I literally teared up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, thank God, a giant body of fresh water.
It's also interesting.
Look at the green.
It's also interesting to me that there's nothing in Tennessee, even though the Preds are there. And I wonder if there's just more in Atlanta. Well, think about it. If you are a kid and you're getting into hockey because you're, you know, seeing, you know, your team play all the time. You're like, I want to be a hockey player.
Yeah.
Most of these groups have ways to get into the sport because they want to keep feeding.
That's what Dallas is doing.
Exactly.
Like Dallas is like, they realized how much this city could use a good hockey team.
Yes.
And they're literally, I can't remember if it was their owner or I think it might be their owner or GM or somebody who's involved in like the Dallas Stars organization is literally responded to a quote about like, how do we get more players, because you can't keep doing these expansions without improving the draft pool to NHL caliber players. How do we do that and make it so it's not just the same 4 teams every year? And Dallas was like, we are working on it. Like we are as an organization trying to put our money into giving back into the community so we can have these fucking Dallas born players who want to play for the Stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know,
like that's you're homegrown. Like literally everybody else is understandable because you've got like teams. Let's do Buffalo again. Buffalo, they have a pretty good hockey pipeline, and it's just the fact that Buffalo sucks. But
but like that whole area, like it's like because Erie Otters, like
absolutely,
it's like
the culture
Cleveland,
is there.
Cleveland, Erie, Buffalo, Rochester,
Wilkes-Barre, whatever.
Well, and like New York State has like 4 AHL teams or something, or like 3 AHL teams just in the upstate area, let alone like New York is a hockey state, both on the coast and by the Great Lakes. And then you add in the fact that like they share a border. So you have Toronto, and then up to the north, you've got Ottawa and Montreal. Like it's all just.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so, but it's part
of that culture.
But you would think that that's also there for the Preds, but there's nothing in Tennessee. So it's very fascinating to,
Is it just that they haven't, how long have the Nashville?
They've been around for a while.
1998.
You
so
would
that's
think
just around now.
That's 30.
When
that's
they should
20.
Start.
My brother's 26 years.
Yeah. So like they should have I would give them another year or two. But yeah, it is. The other thing is that apparently it is prohibitively expensive to run ice rinks. They are money pits. And so
all I'm saying, God,
really only are in places where you can, like Florida is putting money into it, right?
Yeah.
Like the Panthers are putting money into
the culture,
like into getting these kids to play ice hockey. Like, Tampa is like when we went, they have their ice rink at the War Memorial. Mm-hmm. That has 2 rinks, one for the practicing, and then they have kids skating the next door over.
Yeah.
Like, and being like, and hockey and this and that. Like, it's one of those things that I think the sport overall has massively missed the mark on, of like, hey, you fucking billionaires, you're not going to get people doing this shit if you don't put some money back in. Rockefeller was building schools or whatever, and y'all can't give these kids some free skates.
We need you to stop being greedy so you can build more ice hockey rinks. Billionaires, do something good with your life.
Truly, because I live in a hockey city, right? Like, it is a hockey city. And like, we have a lot of ice rinks, but even then, I'm trying to think of practically, okay? Like, there's a reason the joke is that beer league is always at 11 p.m. because that's the only time you can get ice. But like, practically, where are your kids going to play hockey if they're not in the pipeline?
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Because how many rinks do we have in a city? And as a hockey city, how many do you have for the population? And I mean, like, we have a bunch because we have college hockey too.
Yeah.
And so like you go skate, like, we have tons of ice rinks, which is why we're pretty bright on that map. But like, these places need to commit. Mm-hmm. You gotta do it, man. You gotta
for the health of the sport. Money. For the health of the sport.
If you want to keep making money, you have to have players to play the fucking sport, idiots. Like,
absolutely. All right, Saint, we're taking a look at another one of these. Where are you sitting? This time, it is on a 12-hour flight. I think this one is much worse than the last one.
Yes, this is
horrendous.
The last one you had options based on what, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
I know which one you're gonna do. That's not even a shot.
You
want to go for number 8 between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. I know that's what you want to do.
You say that, but there's 2 options for me, right? In that scenario, I would make that conflict worse.
Yes, absolutely.
Or the plane would come crashing down because they would kill each other with their minds, and I would make it worse than that. Like, there's no scenario where they're coming out of that better people.
No, I think that's even funnier. Listen.
Champ would buy my ticket for that, so that I'd get stuck.
I would. Between them. I'm like, I know you need Dramamine to get through a flight. However, I need you to be a bitch and just send
I need you to take a COVID cocktail and you'd give me like
cocktail. I need you to get me content between the 2 of them, and I need them to hate each other even worse when they go in.
It's like how we put me at the Marchand and Tavares table so that I could be besties with Marshy, and then also
talk shit about Tavares.
Either get him on the path of Jesus, which is to say basic human common sense, and then if otherwise I can make him lose his mind.
Yeah,
like I can make him actually crash out. No, the only option is number 7.
Yeah, that would be.
There is no.
The only thing I can see going wrong with that is I can absolutely see Fleury and Sid starting a prank war in the middle of the air and it going berserk. They'd be very sweet until about hour 4, and then they'd get bored. and they'd be talking over you, I think you wouldn't care. You'd be just delighted to be part of that.
I would be like, I'm listening to my background music, which would probably at that point be the Wii music, Wii Resorts music.
Because you couldn't do anything else.
And then I'd just be sitting there and making comments. Then I'd also be like, I am trying not to throw up and die. Thank you.
And they would take care of you, but then they'd go right back to the prank war.
Flower, I am going to fall asleep on your shoulder.
Wow, you can't even. You're not even Sid.
No, because I'm looking at the flight. No, this is practical.
Okay.
Because maybe I would fall asleep on Sid's shoulder. Because I tend to like lean towards the my left.
I love how you're acting this out.
Listen, shut up. She can tell because my mic changed. And I'm like, wait. So it would depend on which way the airplane is facing, but like it probably would be Sid. Because like I said, when I fall asleep,
I'm the same way. I turn to
planes, I lean towards the left. So Sid, your shoulder is my pillow. You have no say.
He'd be happy. He'd just be happy.
He'd be.
You wouldn't feel mortified. But
if I had a Kovac special, I'd be right in the rain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to do when we go and become famous and have to start giving interviews.
Yeah, Kovac special.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna be an alcoholic by a second interview. I think that obviously I would love to sit beside Connor. I feel though that Connor is one of those people who on flights just kind of zones out. So I'd be upset about that. But I'd be between Connor and Connor. And I could save Connor Bedard so much trouble in protecting himself. It depends
how bad my maternal instincts are kicking up that day. If it was, and I love you, Connor, so much, but if it was Leon and Connor Bedard, I that would be a legitimate fight. I'd have to pick 7. But I would be like, okay, but Connor Bedard, I can save you. I'll help you, bud. Like we're gonna this is my new son. Like I've adopted him. And then I would force Dry to also continue his adoption of Connor
absolutely. The other one that I think would be really interesting, for me at least, I mean, obviously I would love to sit 7. I think 8 would be hilarious. But 3 with Celebrini and Toffoli, the future is teal.
The future is teal.
I think after the sleepover story, I'm much more endeared to Toffoli. Didn't know him before that, so now I'm like, oh, you're just dad. So I think it'd be funny teaming up with Celebrini. I know I'm not Will Smith, buddy. I wish I could be that for you. Unfortunately, I think we could team up together and prank Toffoli. We could sleep over. Come on.
Does the seat impact because there's the person who built this was very intelligent in that they picked either your aisle or window. With people that would probably not be Manny's first choice.
Okay.
But do you think that would impact? So because 7 and 2 and 8, and 3, which are our picks. Yeah. Obviously not in that order.
Are in the middle.
You are in the middle, and I can handle the middle. I can handle any seat, but I prefer the window just because if I would be like, Sid Crosby, do I have permission to use your shoulder as a pillow? If so, I don't care. I'll take the middle. Yeah. But if you're not going to let me use, because when I've shared middle seats before, because Callie was like, I need the window this time, or she was trying to figure out which would be best for her anxiety, and I was like, okay, but I'm going to fall asleep on you. That's the only.
I think that's you're probably right, because I would rather die than sit in seat 5. And seat 1, I can't sit beside him anymore. It's just, but I also think that there's a difference in I would just, if we're going to talk, then I want to be in the middle.
Yeah, I want both sides. I don't want to be in the end.
Yeah, because you're craning your neck going, hey, what did you say?
Wait, what were you doing? Also, do you think, someone said, 8, I want to know what happened. Oh my God, champ. There's a third option, and that's where I play
therapist. Marriage counselor.
But there will be a right side and a wrong side, because I take sides.
It would be Elias Pettersson.
I don't. But at the end of the 12-hour flight, I would turn and I'd be like, you are wrong. You're an asshole. Go fuck yourself. And then the other one, I'd be like, you've done nothing wrong ever in your whole life. And that would be just to fuck with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, could you imagine if you were if like Elias Pettersson gets up to go to the bathroom, and you're like, JT, you are so right. You're so right. I'm just humoring him, but you are so right. Absolutely. And then JT Miller gets up to go to the bathroom, and you turn to Elias Pettersson, you're so right. What a fucking asshole. Like,
you are diabolical.
Oh, as Alex said one scene, I think you were a terrorist.
You are. I don't think it's another life. I think it's right now on this plane.
I think it's right now on this plane. God, give me a loving family to nerf me.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Saint, you know what I just realized that we didn't talk about?
What?
Sid Crosby broke Wayne Gretzky's record.
Oh my God. So many things happened this week. And you know what? Why it's also not real? Oh my God, I lied. Like, it's because we're seeing the ceremony.
I know. This
on
weekend.
Sunday. Guys, we're going to Pittsburgh.
Oh my God.
For a hockey
Congratulations,
game.
Sid.
And they decided to end their hot streak.
No,
Bastards.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to be great. All right. Bastards. Well, let's move into... I
thought we were going to talk about the fact that Sid is king of consistency.
He is king of consistency.
And I kind of get annoyed that, and like, OV bless up, I'm really proud of you for breaking the record. Like, yes, but to me, Sid's is not, I don't want to say more impressive. I think it's sort of
very
like
two different
an
record
apples,
breaking, yeah.
Very two different records, but also just like it's different also in that the Caps are contenders this year,
yes.
Right? Like, they're on a fucking tear. They're on the power of friendship. Sid Crosby has been with the Pittsburgh Penguins at their lowest right now.
Yep.
Like, one of the, not the lowest, but damn fucking close. For like 5 years now, it's just been a steady decline. And the past 3 years have been like the worst because it's 3 straight missed playoff appearances. And we're bottom of the league or middle, never top. And he's still putting up these points. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? I don't want to say, because I'm not diminishing Ovi shit at all. But if we're going to compare the two, I think it's vastly more impressive this year and the past few years to do this on a team that sucks. Like, to still put those numbers up. I think that just shows a testament to how fucking elite he is as a hockey player at his age.
I agree.
He's never had a dip, even with all those injuries, all the different types. Like, a kid had a fucking... Did you know it wasn't a concussion, by the way? The Winter Classic injury for Sid?
Bruise his brain?
He apparently... Well, a concussion is a contusion on your brain.
Yeah.
But he had, like... They thought it was, like... It was basically his spine... was creating false concussion syndrome.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's like a thing where, like... And, like, some neurologist figured it out that was, like... I think... And he got, like, an injection in his... neck, and like he was better, like not 100%.
That sounds like my dad,
go through, but like it wasn't like because that's the thing about brains is like there's the concussion, and then the symptoms can like never go away.
Yeah.
But his concussion, he had a concussion. He had a really fucking bad concussion, but the like 6 months or 9 months or whatever it was where he was having those symptoms, it wasn't from all the concussion. It was from his like spine or something like that, which is fucking crazy. And he still manages to put up fucking points per game in that year. Crazy.
That is crazy. And it's really cool. And also it's exciting that we get to see that. On Sunday.
I was telling my mom, I was like, well, worst case scenario. Well, I said there's 2 options. I said one is that like the Pens do so bad against the Sabres, which they did, but Sid still got his point and got it, or he didn't get his point and then we got to witness it against Pittsburgh. And now we get to see the ceremony, which I don't want to say I like more, but I think that's a lot of fun.
I agree.
Like,
it's special.
Both are great.
It's special.
It is special. So even if we lose and everything sucks, it's still going to be like a really cool thing to get to witness. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I get to see my best friend.
All right, let's move into sportsmanlike conduct again. Hey, Saint, I'm fine. We could get anyone on this list. Okay, that's not true. We could get most people on this list, and I'd be okay with it. Now that the Canucks are gone.
Wow. Who do we have?
Quite a few people on this list. I mean, it's not. There's not awful.
It is kind of funny that like the hockey gods are giving us the easy ones at the end of the season, or at least the less. They took us out in the earlier episodes.
All right, let's spin this wheel. Oh dear, it could be even worse.
Out of my life.
Oh no! Why? Why? Why?
Get fucked! No! Get fucked, losers! Wow.
Why did I speak? What?
That's so fucking funny. Is this 2 weeks in a row at you specifically?
Yeah. Listen, I'm going through it enough.
I literally jinxed us. I can't believe I jinxed us by saying at least they're giving us nice ones, and I said, wait. That's so fucking funny.
So the answer, or the pick that the wheel has chosen is the Calgary Flames. Actually, I'm gonna count us down. And we're going to say what we like about the Calgary Flames at the same time. I think...
Do we have anything?
Okay.
You're going to say something.
Yeah, you're just going to stare at me like I've got 3 heads. I think you can come up with something, and I hope it's the same thing that I'm thinking.
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
You ready? 3,
nope.
2, 3, 2, 1, go.
Johnny Gaudreau?
Okay, not what I was going to say. I was going to say Battle of Alberta.
Oh, well, I feel like is that cheating? Because that's really just relating it to the Oilers.
Yeah, but okay, go to Johnny Gaudreau first.
The way that the Flames organization handled Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau's passing was a class act. Mm-hmm. And I was not going to be mad if they did well.
Yeah.
This year. I know he was a Blue Jacket, but he spent a lot of time there.
He got Johnny Hockey from there.
Yeah, like he was a Flame. And yeah, also I had I don't know, I think it's funny that you're one of the former Atlanta teams.
Yeah.
That someone said we should just skip the part where Atlanta gets a team and just give it to Quebec City.
Oh God.
And just, cut out
Go ahead,
yeah.
I'll say I have 2. Battle of Alberta is so much fun. It was really when I think you and I oh, this is what we want to watch. Was that Yanmark fight.
Yeah.
That was the moment we went, oh no, we're into this. We're really into this. Core memory for me. I know that's got the Oilers in it, but it's the same thing. And I'm sad that we're missing it because we're going to be traveling tomorrow. So we're not going to be able to watch the final Battle of Alberta of the year. It is the final.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch it.
The highlights
together.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, is it ESPN or is it on?
I have no clue.
Because if it's ESPN,
and I think Dry's back tomorrow, so thank God.
Oh my baby! It is ESPN Plus, which means I can use the replay feature, and we can watch it and then just skip the commercials.
Another thing that I really like about the Flames this year specifically is Dustin Wolf. He's an incredible young goalie, and he's kicking ass. He deserves the Calder Cup. That's my hot take, is he deserves it. He won't get considered for it because he's a goalie, but he's been kicking ass this season, so good for him.
Yeah, look. I will say I do have to agree with you. The Battle of Alberta is it was definitely one of many moments in our start of our hockey journey where we went, oh, I like this shit. God damn.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode, folks. We really appreciate you listening through all of our rants and ramblings. The Puck Witches podcast is released on Spotify and our YouTube channels, and you can join the Night Witches Discord via the link below to talk about the episodes directly, as well as enjoy our other channels. It's full of gaming, hobbies, and good vibes.
Sometimes we record these episodes live on Twitch, so make sure you're following us there. And if you want to support us with a Twitch Prime on either or both of our channels, you get access to cute emotes and extra channel points. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky for updates.
And lastly, don't forget to support the St. Astrid Draisaitl Jersey Fund by checking out Saint's Etsy or subscribing on Twitch. We love you all and hope the hockey season is treating you well. Champ and Saint, signing off.
Stay witchy.